You think you know what we're going to talk about.
But unfortunately, I fell down a damn rabbit hole and I've not gotten out yet.
Knife bros.
I literally Googled Sebastian Stan hands. But just when you least expect it, we changed the game.
Well, yeah, because like usually in astrology, they would partner up air signs with fire signs.
All right, you can huggle.
Time travel stories, and
At the end of the day, only one thing matters. We decide.
Well, we should make it a topic. Unfortunately, I didn't take German in school. I took Spanish and I don't remember any of it.
Three Fates Decide podcast.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Three Fates Decide. My name is Sam, and I am here with my two co-hosts, Liz and Mary. Say hello.
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 And for your hearing pleasure, I'll say, we are going to be enjoying a nice New Year's episode because 2021 is coming to an end and 2022 is about to begin, which is still hard to believe. And I just can't. This year has completely flown by. So we're gonna kind of go through some of the, couple things New Year's Eve related, maybe some things that we've done, foods to maybe eat or not eat. Mary has some information on that. We're gonna do kind of like a year in review and then talk about maybe some goals for 2022. So I hope you're ready to rock with us, and let's end 2021 with a bang on Three Fates Decide. How does that sound?
Sounds good. Can't wait.
All right. So do you guys do anything for New Year's?
Not really. We usually, in my family, we usually just end up staying home and kind of like just being a family. Most of the time we don't even stay up to watch the ball drop because we are not late night people. We are early morning people. Living on a farm, you tend to be early morning people.
Yeah.
So unfortunately we don't usually watch the ball drop too often. I've watched it a few times on TV, but not too often because I'm usually asleep.
True. Liz?
Yeah, it's pretty similar in our family, except we do watch the ball drop. We don't usually host parties or anything. And we don't get invited to like any of those New Year's parties. And anyway, so yeah, that's about it. We usually have a quiet night at home watching the ball drop. Actually, a few years back, my aunts used to come over and play mahjong with my dad. They'd play for a few hours and then we'd watch the ball drop thing together. And then when that's over, they'll go back and play for another hour.
Oh my.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, you play for a few hours, you'll win quite a bit of money, just like poker night, you know?
There you go. Yeah, I mean, sometimes I go to like my friends' apartments or something like that, but last couple of years I kind of just stay at home, and it's kind of funny because I feel like sometimes it takes forever to get to the ball drop, and then the ball drops literally by 12:02. I'm up in bed. Done. All right, happy New Year. I've become such an old fart. I just don't, even like if I'm at a party, it's like the ball drops and I'm like, all right, well, bye everybody. Gotta
Yeah.
go. Gotta go. My bed is calling. I hear it. I'm coming.
Yeah, I have relatives in other time zones, so sometimes like I'll do my stupid gag of like sending them a happy new year message from the future.
And it's so crazy because the United States is like the pretty much the last of the world to like go through New Year's. Like we're the end of the time zones. So, it is pretty cool like when you think of it like on December 31st here, where we're on more of the east side, the three of us,
Yeah.
obviously, you know, and Eastern Standard Time. is what we are. And like, on the other side of the world, they're already January 1st and like are becoming January 1st. And like I think about, do you guys remember for the year 2000 that whole Y2K
Right.
thing? How
Yes.
like
Oh my
everything was gonna
gosh.
like,
Shut
I thought
down.
that everything was gonna shut down, like computers weren't gonna work anymore, nothing. And I just remember I was terrified. I thought it was the end of the world. And like I'm literally sitting there and like you're counting down like 10, 9, 8, and I'm sitting next to my mom and I'm like, holding on to her, like hiding my face, like, if this is it, like I don't want to watch or whatever. And then like, it
Yeah.
was like Happy New Year. And obviously nothing happened. Everything still worked, everything was fine. But like I'm sitting here now and I'm like, I was such an idiot because there's different time zones. So if the other side of the world, and like that's what
Mhm.
always makes me laugh, like when you hear like these like, oh, it's the end of the world at 4:52 on this date, and it's like 4:52 what time zone?
Right.
You know what I mean? Or is it like every 4:52 like that part of the globe is going to blow up and the rest of us are just going to chill until we get to our time? Like, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
Yeah.
like
Well, I remember like with the Mayan calendar in 2012. Remember
yes.
that one? The end of the
Yep.
world is the apocalypse is coming. I'm like, really?
Yeah, that's US journalism for you, not actually understanding what any of that stuff actually means. Like
Yeah.
they like oversimplified and completely misunderstood exactly what that actually meant.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
'Cause- yeah,
Well, and
because yeah,
they forget like leap years all of a sudden came into play. Thank you, Julius Caesar. And so that completely threw off the Mayan calendar anyway.
Exactly.
It was
right.
gone.
Right.
It's
Right.
just,
And from what I can remember, I think what the Mayan calendar thing was really talking about was not necessarily a literal end of the world, but more like a almost like a spiritual end of one cycle and the start of a new cycle,
mhm,
which, for any cultures that are like very old, ancient cultures where they have some version of that kind of philosophy or mythological understanding of the world, how the world works. You have this belief that you go through a certain cycle for whatever period of time, and then once you've reached that end of that particular time period, it is the proverbial end of the world, but it's not really the end of the world. It's the end of that cycle, and then you got to start all over again. So.
yeah.
So it was a gross oversimplification and a complete misunderstanding of what that actually meant.
I'm just saying we've survived more apocalypses and like end of the world than I'm sure any other generation before, because there's always something like every few years someone
Mhm.
pops up and it's like, oh, it's the end of the world on this date, and nope, nothing happens. So, we're all like gods or something because we've just survived all the ends of the world.
Mhm.
Just saying. But anyway,
Yep.
digressing here. Uh, so, Mary, I know you said you found some information on what to eat or what not to eat on New Year's Eve. Now, I know for me, anytime I go to a party, a lot of times it's like appetizers, like, like
Right.
finger foods and stuff like that. So,
Right.
what did you find?
Well, it's more for like New Year's Day. So it's more for January 1st. And it's to foods that um I living in Ohio, there was a lot of German settlers back in the late 1600s, early 1700s in the Ohio and Pennsylvania region, and they eat, and it's something that my family still does. It's a religious thing for us at this point. You eat pork and sauerkraut on New Year's Day. That is what you eat because, and the reason is you eat pork on New Year's Day to bring good luck for the new year. Because what it is you want to, because pigs root forward when they're in the dirt. So
Mm,
therefore you are moving into you're moving forward into a new year, on a good note you're going to bring good luck. Now, some of the things you should not eat on New Year's Day would be like any type of winged fowl or poultry. So like your chicken, your turkey, your duck, things like that. Because for chicken and turkey is because they scratch backwards in the dirt, and it's thought to bring bad luck for the new year because you're holding on to the past. You're supposed to let the past go and move forward.
That
And
explains so much.
doesn't it? And for like any other type of winged fowl is because it will fly away with your good luck if you eat winged fowl on New Year's Day. Another thing is seafoods like lobster, shrimp, and crab should be avoided because they move sideways on the ocean floor instead of forward or back. They kind of make you kind of stuck, and they prevent you from moving forward into the coming year, into the new year, your new. It's all about you want to keep your past behind you, and you don't want to dwell on it. You want to let it go and move forward. That's why pigs root forward. So that's why we always eat pork.
Right.
And this one, Liz, would be more for like Chinese, especially on Chinese New Year's, which I know is a little later in the beginning of the year. But white colored foods. Obviously, like anything that's all white, because it says to the website that I found, it says according to the ancient Chinese belief, white symbolizes death in the Chinese culture. So they consider it unlucky to eat that on New Year's Day because you want to celebrate life, not death, obviously.
Right.
And short noodles. You don't want to eat short noodles.
Nope.
You want to eat long noodles.
Yep.
I like long noodles anyway.
Yes. And the another thing is for New Year's Eve, this is a New Year's Eve one, especially for the Germans, that I found this one was very interesting, is you don't eat everything on your plate. You always leave leftover food past midnight to ward off bad luck.
What if you have multiple plates?
Well,
as long as you leave something.
As long as you leave something on the last plate before midnight or right after midnight, you want to, so you'll have good luck in the coming year. And another one this was strange. I didn't know this one. It's not really a food, but you don't pass a knife or give a knife as a gift on New Year's because it symbolizes cutting ties with that person, unless that's what you're planning to do.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. I thought some of those were very interesting types of superstitions, I guess you could say, of what you should and should not eat on New Year's.
Yeah.
No, that's definitely interesting. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I've been eating chicken this whole time.
Well, that explains so much, Sam.
It does.
Don't eat chicken anymore.
I've been wondering why. And, now I know.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, for me, you briefly touched on it, but yeah, I mean, for me, some of the things you were reading were not that weird to me. I mean, even though they are beliefs from a different culture, just the concept was not that strange to me. Because I grew up with what people might consider very strange cultural practices and beliefs. Not that I may necessarily personally believe in them, but I do it anyway because it's just me keeping in touch with my own culture. But yeah, none of those things sounded that weird to me. When we will eventually do a lunar / Chinese New Year episode in a couple of months, for those of you who are listening. So we will touch upon that a little bit more detail then. But yes, we have our own share of slightly odd customs, one of which actually it's pretty similar thing to some of those you should not do this for New Year's or before New Year or whatever. We have this thing where we clean our house, but during the first couple of weeks of the new year, we're not supposed to clean our house because there's the belief that if you do it before the new year, you are cleaning out the dirt and bad luck out of your house. But then once it's the new year starting, if you do that kind of cleaning again, you're going to sweep the good luck out of your house. So, yeah.
That makes sense, really.
Yeah. I mean, like the reasoning behind it makes sense, certainly, yes. Yep. Any other interesting facts you found out?
That was about all I really found.
I admit, some of those food things do sound kind of delicious, though.
They really do. They really, 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 really do. I mean, I don't mind eating. I'm not a big fan of sauerkraut, but I will eat pork until the cows come home. I mean, literally.
Yeah.
We eat a lot of ham. We eat a lot of sausage. So
Yeah.
There you go.
perfectly happy on New Year's Day to have probably ham and sauerkraut.
Oh, listeners, is if this is clearly a sign we need to do a food episode in the near future.
I mean, listeners, unless Sam can cut it all out, you may hear me munching on the popcorn in the background now because I have to. I'm a big girl and I love my food.
I mean, I can't do anything when you're talking and eating, but the other times,
Sorry.
yes, I can take care of it. But I'm not that good.
I guess, did you want to talk about any interesting world events
World events.
for us to reflect and remember before we let them go and they truly are history?
Okay, so I found month by month. I'm not gonna obviously go through everything, but some big ones, especially for us Americans, something that we still are kind of dealing with the after effects because of people. But January 6th of 2021, there was a attack on the US Capitol, and it forced Congress to evacuate. 5 people died in the riot, including a police officer and a woman who was shot and killed inside the Capitol. And yeah, it was crazy. Absolutely crazy. I remember I was sitting in my room, was working from home that day, and all of a sudden, like, all like my computer started like blowing up about it, and I was like, "What the hell is going on?"
Yeah, I remember that. Mine was doing the same thing.
I was like, "Holy crap, world's going to hell." Actually, no, just the country.
What else is new?
But didn't stop January 20th coming and Joe Biden being inaugurated as the 46th president of the United States. On January 26th, confirmed number of COVID cases exceeded 100 million worldwide. It's not a fun fact, but we're still living in the day of COVID, so I figured I'd throw out the COVID stuff.
Unfortunately, some people forget.
Yes, exactly. In case you didn't realize,
For everybody that's been living under a rock and in a cave for the last year, 2 years almost.
Although the people that are living in the cave probably are protected at this point.
Probably. Go back to the caves, people. Go back.
Oh God. February major happened. Oh, there was a major snowstorm in the US that killed 136 people. Don't remember that. Where was I?
I don't remember that either, but it was my birth. That's my birth month.
So it was mine.
Okay, so the only real besides that, the Mars 2020 mission, they landed on Mars finally after 7 months of travel.
Yay!
Woohoo!
That's a fun one. That's a fun one. February 25th, global death toll from COVID surpasses 2.5 million.
Joy.
Let's see, March, nothing ever happens in March. Okay, here's a positive one. Number of vaccinations for COVID administered worldwide exceeds 500 million on March 25th. So that kudos to everyone who got vaccinated, including the 3 of us. It was vaccinated at that time. It was already vaccinated. April. Happened in April. Anything fun? Global death for COVID surpasses 3 million.
The other thing in April was it was my daughter's birthday and my dad's birthday.
It was my dad's birthday too.
And my dad's birthday. So yeah.
April's a busy month.
Yes, it was. Although my dad's dad would not have been alive. He passed several decades ago, but he wouldn't have been alive anyway because he'd have been 121 years old.
Jesus.
Yeah, he was born in 1900.
Right. Nothing really happened in April and June. A lot of space stuff, which is interesting. Things that we probably didn't even know. Or
I'm sure
small
I don't
things like
keep up with it.
yeah, like a crew went to the International Space Station. I feel like that happens all the time.
Yeah.
So we're gonna skip over that to June, which is my birthday month.
Woo woo.
Huzzah!
There was an annular solar eclipse, which was visible in Canada, Greenland, and Poland, and the Russian Far East.
Cool.
Remember when we had the solar eclipse? I can tell.
No.
Not tell. Unless you did that little funky thing, whatever. Let's see. And on June 29th, COVID vaccines administered worldwide exceeds 3 billion. Yay, we're getting better.
Mm-hmm.
July, more wildfires out in Western Canada.
Ugh.
And there was a record-breaking heat wave in North America that resulted in 600 deaths.
Joy.
Yeah. July was a bad month for my family.
Yeah. COVID deaths surpasses 4 million. Let's leave the U.S. for a second. July 12th, 2021 European floods. Heavy rain causes flooding in the border region of Germany and Belgium, resulting in 229 deaths, including 184 in Germany, 42 in Belgium, with one person still missing there, and 2 in Romania.
I do remember that. That was pretty shocking.
Yeah, I think I remember seeing that on the news or hearing about it somewhere.
Yeah, that was pretty shocking, really.
Yeah, that's bananas.
Yeah.
Okay, and the International Olympic Committee awards Brisbane the right to host the 2032 Olympics. And then from July 23rd to August 8th, the 2020 Summer Olympics were held in Tokyo, Japan.
Yeah, I mean, for what they were able to do, it wasn't actually bad Olympics.
It obviously was different, yeah. It was very quiet. But at the same time, what I liked about it was you actually heard teams cheering for each other. There's a lot more, I feel. I mean, the Olympics, one of the things I like about it is the sportsmanship is there, country to
Right.
country. I feel like we kind of saw it even more so this year
Yeah.
because obviously it's and then there was that whole thing with Simone Biles that people just didn't understand what she was going through, and she still gets harassed actually. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yes, and as some of you listeners will recall, we did talk about this in a previous episode.
We did
With our mental health episodes.
Yes. All right. Anything exciting other than the Olympics happen in August? I don't think so. There was an earthquake in Haiti, 7.2 earthquake in Haiti that killed more than 2,100 people.
Yeah, it's a never-ending cycle of mess and disaster and terrible stuff over there.
Yeah.
We had the Taliban come back summer.
Yeah.
That's always exciting.
Oh.
Just when you think that they're gone, come back. Hurricane Ida struck New Orleans. Poor city, just can't catch a break.
Oh, I know.
Yep, basically, yes.
Pretty much.
My cousin's evacuated.
September, some stuff with Romania political crisis. I didn't know about that. So, USR Plus boycotts a Romanian government meeting as to approve the so-called Angels. I'm not even going to try. You know what? It's an investment program. So that happened. Stuff happened in France.
The biggest thing that I remember happening, well, for the US anyway, was the whole search for that Gabby Petito.
Yes.
And yeah,
today it kind of
they
came to
finally
a sad
it,
ending.
it did, which I knew. I suspected that. I shouldn't say I knew it. I
Oh yeah.
suspected that was the case.
Oh, absolutely. So
Yeah,
obviously you all, I'm sure, know that we record these episodes, you know,
in
early,
advance.
well in advance. So so happened that today it came out that her fiance, Brian Laundrie, who had been missing and his body was recovered miraculously after his parents decided to join the fight. I'm not getting into it. We can do a whole episode on this.
Yeah, we could. We should.
And it came out that it was suicide, gunshot wound to the head,
Yeah.
which does not shock me, and it
No.
makes me mad because now we'll never know what happened
What
to that poor
happened?
girl.
Yeah.
And it's
And
just a
what
very
happened
sad
and why he
ending
did
for
it.
her family.
Yeah.
But
And why
I
he did it.
hope his parents get arrested now. That's what I hope. That's my hope. They deserve it. Just saying.
Yeah. I mean, I guess literally the only one positive thing out of all this was the fact that it just brought to attention a problem that's been going on for a very long time, which is that there are people who go missing every year in the US. And so many times these people disappear and nobody ever talks about it or brings attention to it. And in some cases they do bring some attention to it, but then like the story like basically disappears after like a week, and there's never any resolution, unfortunately, for so many people. And this whole situation just brought to attention the fact that this is going on, and there needs to be more effort to bring attention to the fact that like, hey, my sister is gone, my daughter is gone, my brother is disappeared, etc. All these people are just like Gabby's family that want to know what happened to them, where did they go,
Mm-hmm.
and sadly for so many people it becomes a mystery that never gets solved until it becomes like one of those unsolved, real crime drama stories that you hear about on like Dateline or whatever, and the
Right.
case gets cracked like 30 years later.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And we're not going to go into the political implications that can come along with it, considering she was a pretty blonde white female.
Right.
So of course there was a lot of media attention around it. We're not going to go into the horrible other side of that coin where
Yeah.
they're not as cared about to find, sadly, which definitely I think we can all agree needs to change.
100%.
I mean,
100%.
it doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on politically, everybody can agree that needs to change.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because everybody is somebody's child, parent, sibling, best friend, whatever. I mean, all
Everybody's somebody's family and they all deserve the same respect and attention and
yeah,
hours and funding to find out what happened to them.
yeah,
I don't care
because
who you
yeah,
are, what color you are, what sexual orientation you may or may not be. I don't care about any of that. If you're missing, damn it, I care. And if I could find you, I would. And
right,
if I could shake up Washington and the police departments and everything to give a damn about half the people, I'd do it. But unfortunately, I'm one person.
yeah,
But
because I mean, even if things
mhm,
turn out very tragically, the thing is that people deserve to get some kind of closure for it, because
exactly.
otherwise it's always going to remain a mystery, and it does haunt
Mhm.
people that got left behind, really. Like, where did they go? What happened to them?
Yeah.
You know.
And moving on to the next
Yes.
to the next. We could really fall down a rabbit hole with that. So but we're not going to do.
I mean, besides, elections, obviously in early November, and then what the U.S. recently was kind of sitting through was the Rittenhouse trial, which is another thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's some of the major things. Like I said, I wasn't going to go through everything because, yeah, there's
We'd
just
be
way
here
too
all
much.
night.
But as of November 1st, the number of recorded deaths from COVID-19 globally surpasses 5 million people, which is just so sad. So
Yeah.
sad. Hopefully it'll get better. So I thought maybe along with, kind of going through the world review, we could also go through podcast review. So as I'm sure any of you may remember, we kind of talked about it on our free talk. We may have mentioned it a couple more times. We didn't start posting our podcast until June. However, we actually started recording back in January. So it's been almost a year since we have been recording. And this is episode 31, which is crazy. Absolutely crazy. And we have done quite a few different topics over the last 31 episodes. So I thought maybe we could kind of reminisce. I had our drive up so that I can remember what we did. So
Yeah.
after obviously our welcome episode, we did WandaVision. That became a 2 episode. We tried to fit it all in one, and it was like an hour and a half long. So we wound up splitting it into 2 episodes.
Yes. And our first WandaVision episode has done very well. Unfortunately, the second one didn't get as much love.
Yeah, I mean, we're all very confused about that. It's like, as of we're recording this episode, actually, I'm looking at it right now. The first half of our WandaVision talk was like 397 downloads, and the second half is like 24. What is going on here, folks? Did you guys not want to hear what we thought of the last half of the series? I mean, I don't get it. We're all confused here.
Yeah, that's kind of funny though. That is kind of funny. After that, we did episode on decades, because obviously there's a whole big thing between the baby boomers, and you have your Gen X, Y, Z,
Well, the
millennials.
You have your millennials, then you have your Generation Z, otherwise known as Zennials. Just like
there's Zennials with an X too, so it's kind of confusing.
Yeah,
we should call them X-Zennials.
Yeah, I think, yeah, because you had your baby boomers and you had your Generation X, then you had millennials, and then the Generation Z. And I know myself, and I'm thinking Liz, we are kind of in that really weird gray area, right between the X and the Generation X and the millennial generation, where technically we would be considered millennials, but at the same time we still identify a lot with the Generation X. So we were like the Xennials.
Yes.
The Zennials with the X.
I was born later on in the 80s, so I am a elder millennial, I like to call it.
Yes, we will accept you into our club of the what we've always been affectionately known as the Oregon Trail generation.
Yeah. No, that was actually a fun one, because it's something that I know my friends and I talk about all the time, because I up until recently was teaching high school kids, and just things that I see and I'm like, I don't understand. And they would make fun of me for things I got a one shoulder or crossbody backpack just to carry some stuff, and they kept calling it a fanny pack. I'm like, do you even know what a fanny pack is? The fanny pack goes around your waist. This is going across my chest. It's a backpack. I'm holding they just thought it was the funniest thing, and they were like, oh, I would never be caught dead with a fanny pack. I'm like, don't hate on the fanny pack, first of all, because guess what? I bet you that's going to be coming back next. You guys like to take everything else,
right? So that'll be the next thing that's coming back.
So then we moved on to movies, and we did 2 episodes on movies. One about just movies in general, and 2 I think was more on how
Hollywood has
Hollywood
nothing
has
original anymore.
yeah, it's lost its originality, which is
Yeah,
100% true.
it is.
We got a lot of downloads for those episodes actually. Like they're 300s.
So you guys liked the movies.
Yes.
Hmm.
It
And
always
for some reason and for some reason you're not downloading the second half of WandaVision. I mean, what is this?
right. And we didn't have a lot of people didn't like the generational one either. They really didn't like that one.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
We're trying different topics.
Yeah. Our podcast has always been we decide what we talk about. It's not always there for a while we were doing kind of like more fandom stuff, which I think might maybe have hurt us in the long run. I don't know. But we enjoy our fandom stuff, but we also enjoy a wide range of other topics, as you can tell by our podcast. We talk about anything and everything.
We try and spread it out 100%.
Yeah, but there's still certain things that we tend to gloss over or not really touch majorly on, and that was obviously religion, politics, any really majorly controversial topics. We tend to keep those out because we want our podcast to be entertainment. We don't want to get it too dark and heavy, and we are 3 women that have 3 different opinions on many different things, and if we want to keep our friendships and keep this podcast going, it's best to never speak about those things.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, really.
Yeah.
We agree on a lot of things, but there are some things that I know we would probably at least one of us would disagree with, and it just can be really nasty, and we don't want that.
True. 100%.
Yes.
So after that we did The Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
That also did pretty well.
And then we moved on to Depp vs. Heard. Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard, which I'm excited to kind of get to the bottom of come 2022 once their trial.
Right, I am too. And we will definitely be doing an update on all that too. We'll be doing another episode on all of it.
And then didn't Liz, I think you shared that someone's doing like a docu-series or whatever on them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure you did back here.
Which I was saying, like, I don't know how good of an idea it is. Do it. I mean, my hope would be that it would be it's Discovery Plus.
Yes.
After the court case, because it could kind of sway court, like if they watched it or whatever. But yeah. And it kind of does sound like their one episode is, going to be her point of view. One episode is his point of view. So they are kind of allowing both sides to kind of have their own thing. But yeah, no. I'm going to watch it, but I'm not
same.
Then we moved on to COVID. We talked about this lovely pandemic that we've all been in for a year and a half, or more than a year and a half, almost 2 full years.
Almost 2 years now. Oof.
Yeah, craziness. And then we talked about China and their strict policies, I guess I'll say.
When it comes to movies and
when it comes to Hollywood and movies and things like that, which was very educational. I enjoyed that episode.
Yeah. Just as a side note, at some point we may want to that may be a topic we want to revisit in 2022 because subsequent to when we were doing that episode, there's been newer stuff that happened both in relation to Hollywood, and we did touch slightly on politics in that episode just because it gives you a better context of what is going on with the whole thing between China and how Hollywood does business. So that's one of those few times where we will talk about politics because you have to have like a better understanding of what is going on for any of it to make any sense.
Right.
Yeah.
But we talked about it in a way that it would, because it wasn't the politics of the US.
Right.
And so I think in that relation it was a lot easier to speak about politics because we're not directly involved with that type of politics. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We see it, we can see it from the outside. And I
Right.
mean, and Liz, I know you actually still have family members over in Hong Kong, correct?
Yep.
So they are living the politics that we did speak about.
Right.
So it was that in that kind of, in cases like that, it is easier to speak about the politics because there's really no drama that goes into it
Right.
on our parts. So
Right. And like I was saying, it was important to bring it up to a degree because otherwise some of the conflict and potential conflicts wouldn't make any sense to you if you don't understand what is going on. So,
right.
but yeah, things have happened since we did that episode. So again, at some point in 2022, we will want to revisit that because new things happened. So
Looking forward to it. Put it on the list.
yep.
Yes, it'll be one of the many things that we'll be talking about in 2022.
So then we talked about PR in Hollywood, without getting too specific on anything.
Yeah.
That was an interesting episode.
Yeah, actually,
So
quite a few people downloaded that. Like again, as of when we're doing this recording, we had 248 downloads.
Yeah, I mean, it was, I think what was interesting was learning that it's always been around in Hollywood. Like even back in like the golden like, Hollywood days, like PR like stuff like was still like, yeah, it's crazy.
PR is PR, basically.
PR is PR. Yep, not gonna go where I was gonna go. I'm gonna hold on, button that up. All right. And then we talked about Loki.
We did.
We did. Good old Tom Hiddleston.
Yep.
And then we talked about social media and fandoms, which this year I think has taken like really like for me it was an eye opener, because before this year, really before last year, I guess, like I was always just like a casual fan of actors and whatever, like in my head I was like, oh, like they're in love with me and whatever, what did we call it, like and girl, like La La Land or whatever, like
Yeah.
I think everyone at one point like imagines like, oh, if only they would like be in love with me or whatever, because
Right.
that's what that's what they're kind of there for, so like fantasize about them. But with COVID and like not being able to like do anything, and with all the stuff that's been going on with actors and all that, like it was eye opening how, number one, how crazy people are and how like legit like like fandoms are nuts.
They are.
Absolutely nuts. I never want to be in a fandom again. I just want to go back to being a casual fan where I don't pay attention to anything.
Yep.
And I just like an actor for their acting, and that's it.
And that's what I've done. Because we had talked about, I had my pinky toe in a couple of fandoms. I have since removed that pinky toe from the fandoms. I'm no longer in any fandom.
Yeah.
I'm going back to my blissful little bubble where I didn't know anything about anybody, and I'm gonna stay there.
Yeah. I mean,
it's
yeah, for me, not that we want to drag this topic too long, but yeah, for me, I was generally a casual fan. It's like, when you hear like, oh, so and so did this, so and so did that. I was like, oh, okay. It's just a thing. And then I move on with my life. But
Yep.
now at this point, it's like every time I'm hearing like, oh, so and so did this, so and so did that, I'm like, what's their angle this time?
Yeah.
I've grown pretty cynical about it now. Like my thing has been like, what is their angle? What's the trick here?
right. And I in my whole thing is like, if they, obviously there's certain things that celebrities do that, you know, are like horrific. You know, just thinking about the article that you showed me, Liz, was like Kevin Spacey or whatever. Like, I was such a huge fan of his. He's phenomenal actor, liked all of his movies, whatever. And
Mhm.
now, like, looking at him disgusts me because of what he did. But I feel like now, even like the actors that I was just casual with, like, I just, it's like changed me. I don't want that. I want, like, if they do something like horrifically wrong and that changes my mind about them, then that's fine. But like them doing like just like stupid stuff, I don't want that to like make me like start changing. You know what I mean? I don't know if I'm making sense, but you know,
It does.
it's
Yeah, it does.
That's why I'm going back to my bubble where I don't know anything unless it's
I feel
something
like,
absolutely horrific.
yeah, I
And
feel like I'm kind of in too deep with this one that I need to just see what happens, and then once it's over, go just like go off, just like disappear for a while.
yeah, I
Like
just
at this point, I need to see.
well, I still learn about it through you because
Yes.
it's the same fandom that I was in and I had the pinky toe in that I've since now removed myself from because I'm just
Uh,
like I just got to the point where I just didn't care. I
yeah,
do I mean I'm curious because it's like watching a train wreck
yeah,
and you kind of can't help but watch it. But at the same time, it's like, why am I investing so much of my mental health and sanity into watching this train wreck? I don't need to watch this.
yep.
But yeah, that was another
Um,
fairly popular episode of ours.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm
And
looking
then
at the Podomatic website where we actually have
Yeah.
uploaded all of these.
Yeah, basically at this point, anything from like August and earlier, which are like some of our older episodes, like if they have over 200 downloads, that's
Yeah,
pretty popular by
yeah,
now.
yeah. Because our because on according to the Podomatic, we've had 408 downloads or plays, I should say, of the WandaVision Part 1 and only 31 of WandaVision Part 2.
we're not letting go on this whole WandaVision Part 2. Why didn't you guys like WandaVision Part 2? What happened? We need to know.
I mean, it's like, okay,
Was it where was it where I split the episode? Were you not happy about where I split the episode? I'm sorry. Sorry. I needed to cut it. I had to.
I mean, okay, if you guys didn't like a particular topic in general, we can understand that, but it's just a mystery to us why something that is clearly a part two of a two-part thing has nowhere near the same numbers as the first half. It's like, it's perplexing, guys. Please,
Yes.
please help us understand this.
Yeah, and well, Generations and Decades only has 33 plays slash downloads. So I don't think people like that episode either. But then
But
we
you
go
know, it's
episode
right,
but then we
well,
go back
right,
up
but
to
it's less perplexing to us,
right.
like that those numbers are low than the WandaVision thing. I mean, I don't like we really don't understand that. Like we
Right.
legit don't understand it. Like we're very confused.
Yes.
I'm
Tell
so
us.
confused. Yes. Please, we have
Uh,
ways to reach us. Please reach out and tell us why you did not like WandaVision 2.
oh God. And then
Oh,
we moved on to mental health, which
yes.
was a good episode, I feel.
It was a very good episode.
And then we talked about books. Then
Books
we
and
went
authors.
and then we kind of stuck to, I guess, as we say, like a fandom-esque for the next three, because we talked about Phase 4 of Marvel, The Hunger Games, and then the original Star Wars trilogy, all
Yes.
back to back to back.
Right.
Right.
We did.
Then we moved on to TV shows,
Which did
celebrity,
decently okay.
yeah, celebrity deaths, which I feel like everyone talks about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, some of these episodes are like relatively speaking recent,
New.
so
Yeah,
those
they
numbers
are.
are obviously kind of low, but we are regularly getting downloads for them. So, given enough time, the numbers will go up to like 200s probably.
Oh, I'm sure
Yeah.
on a lot of these still. So
Yeah.
yeah. Then we talked
and
about Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings, and then our Halloween episode,
Yes.
and then our phobias, which I had fun recording that one.
That one was fun. We had a lot of fun with that one.
And then
So
we did the prequel trilogy to Star Wars.
yeah, we kind of razzed that one a lot.
But you guys seem to like it, so hey, maybe you all feel the same way as us.
Yes.
And then our
As
free
of this
talk,
recording, we did our free talk episode.
episode, which was our 25th episode. We wanted to make it a big thing because 25, hey. So as of this date, that's as far as it's gone. But because this is our New Year's episode, we'll have our Thanksgiving episode, and then we're going to go into the Westeros
Game of
Game
Thrones.
of Thrones, which is going to be 3 episodes long, as I finished the last one.
Yeah.
And then our Christmas episode, and
Then
you
obviously
heard
the
last,
episode we're recording now.
and then
Yep.
this episode, and that's the end of 2021 for Your Fates Decide. You made it. Yay!
You made it with us.
You did
I hope
it.
you liked it. We have a couple of ideas of things that we want to do for 2022. We're not obviously going to divulge too much, but I kind of want to make it a whole thing. You know, we really want you guys to interact with us. We talked about the email, and then our social media account, which I know we don't we haven't posted too much about, but hopefully we'll get there. I know I post a couple of things every once in a while, but um we really want to hear what you guys want us to talk about. Is there a particular topic you want us to hit? Whether it's a certain movie that you want us to review or anything. Honestly, the sky's the limit. Let us know what you want us to talk about, and if we agree, we will add it into our list for 2022. So we are now asking you guys interact and tell us what you want us to talk about them apples.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I guess before we disappear, I think we wanted to kind of talk about maybe some of our own personal goals for 2022. Not necessarily with the podcast, though I think all of us agree with the podcast. Our goal is to just continue getting positive numbers, getting more interactive with our listeners, getting more people to listen, and just continuing to grow so that we can keep going because we're having a grand old time. So
Yeah,
I think
we're still loving doing this. At least I am, and I'm pretty sure I can speak for Liz and Sam when say that they are too.
Yeah.
And I'm really hoping one of the goals I have for the new year is to work a little harder on the Instagram, on our social media, the Instagram side of things, and make it so we can get some more things get some more pictures up. I may do like teaser pictures of like what possible topic may be for that week.
Mhm.
Right.
Without giving
Yeah.
actually giving the topic away, but like see if I can find like a teaser and something, and
Yeah.
start posting at least weekly, if not more often, about things like that. And then maybe eventually start doing like maybe reels or doing doing Instagram lives where people can ask questions and we can and like try to
Yeah.
answer them online on like an Instagram live or something or
Fun.
things like that.
Yeah.
That's my goal for 2022 is try to get more proficient with the Instagram stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't really contributed much to the account, so I don't know, maybe I'll find some interesting things to post on there. I mean, the trick though is like trying to figure out what would be appropriate,
Right.
for the account. That's the problem. That's
We
always the
need a
problem.
graphic designer that can like make cartoon versions of ourselves so that we could post those.
That would be funny.
Yeah. Or we need to do, or I'm sure we could find like pixel art or something and do it for free. That way
that'd
we
be
can
fun.
that way we're not posting our actual image.
Yeah.
If you're not comfortable with that, because I'm not really
I
that
mean,
comfortable with it. I mean, I'll do it. I don't care, but
any personal goals for the year?
Well, I'm sure like for like most people, we all want to lose weight. I really do want to. I mean, I'm not saying I want to lose like a dramatic, but I actually did. I'm one of those rare people that actually did lose weight during the during the stay-at-home lockdown thing, and then oddly enough, once I started going back to the office part-time, I've actually started gaining weight back, which is ridiculous. So I really would like to go back and like try to lose some of that weight I regained. I mean, it's nothing dramatic. It's not like I'm trying to drop like 50 pounds or anything like that, but 5, 10 would be nice. It's
Yeah.
reasonable,
yeah.
I guess one other thing I'm hoping to achieve is that actually I was doing NaNoWriMo in 2021. And while I did have some up and down days with the writing, the thing is that it really did make me feel like, wow, I'm achieving something, doing all this writing every day for like the month of November. And honestly, it really makes me want to keep going with that. So who knows? Maybe my target is by the end of the year, I'm going to actually have a manuscript for a novel written up.
Ooh, fun.
That's
Be
awesome.
cool. Be
Yeah.
cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah, so I guess like I would describe it as like my short-term goal is to rebuild the habit of writing something every day.
Mhm.
But then the longer term goal would be a manuscript.
What
Yeah.
about you, Mary?
I guess I don't really do like goals or resolutions because I never stick to them ever. I mean,
Mm.
I would love to get healthier. I mean, in all aspects of my skin, my hair, my weight, my eating habits, just get healthier. Not necessarily just to lose the weight because God knows I need to do that, but just to be healthier and be able to be there for my daughter.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
at the same time, I think just try to be more engaged, I guess, would be for me. 'Cause I tend to be a social misfit loner. I just have to go off and I'm horrible about like just dropping everything and dropping everyone and not speaking to anybody, but that's also an Aquarius trait.
Yeah.
So trying to break out of that.
There you go. For me, I actually am in the works to start two big, I'm going to call them challenges for 2022. One is my personal trainer and I are going to be doing a year-long challenge that I am going to actually be vlogging. I'm going to make a YouTube channel and a Instagram account, and once a week I'm going to post on the YouTube channel about like my week and my workouts and my eating habits and all that stuff. And then, obviously like pictures and stuff. Because yes, while I do want to lose weight, I also want to tone up.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, you guys don't know, but in 2012 I actually had back surgery. I had a severe herniated disc
Mm,
and had to have it, you know, obviously cleaned up and all that stuff. I still have a partial disc in there, but basically my next move would be fusion, and my goal is to not have that happen. So I really want to, keep my core nice and tight and, work out my back muscles, make sure that they're all good, just to kind of make sure my back is contained as long as possible, as well as obviously wanting to be healthier and look better and stuff like that. Um, so that's a challenge that I'm really motivated about. I already, we've already kind of started talking about like the different foods and stuff like that. So I'm really excited, really motivated with it, and vlogging about it I think is just going to be fun, because it's going to be very exposing for me, which is hard, but at the same time is something that I think I need. because, speaking with my my therapist and stuff like that, I'm very introverted isn't even the right word, but I'm very protective of myself. And as a result, I care a lot about what people think about me and things like that. And I need to kind of let some of that go. And this is kind of like the best way for me to do it. So I'm going to be, 100% like showing what I look like to masses of YouTube and kind of having everyone follow me on my journey. So it's scary but exciting at the same time. And then my other thing, and I think I mentioned this before with you guys. So obviously like talking about like what like my dream job is acting, right? I've mentioned that a couple times. So
Mhm.
I have now decided to, now that I'm done with my quote unquote second job, which was teaching garden and stuff like that, I now have more time to focus on my acting. Besides just going back to like community theater and stuff like that, I'm going to start making myself a reel. So I'm already in the process of like looking up different scenes and stuff that I can record myself to add to my reel. And then I joined a Facebook group for the New York, New Jersey area. And it's for like amateur and professional actors, filmographers, directors, all of that stuff. So like there's been a couple of things that have popped up on Facebook about like paid gigs and things like that. So I'm gonna, start looking into that and kind of getting into that too and seeing if I can make a career out of it. So that's, you know, obviously my one goal is to kind of be in a better position body wise. I mean, I don't expect it to be perfect by this time next year, but definitely feeling a lot better, having a better eating habits and things like that, and just, feeling better. And then obviously being one step closer to actually, going and starting a possible career in acting. So that's my goals for 2022.
Very good. Very good. Yeah.
I'm excited. I haven't been this excited in a long time.
I know. I mean, I know that feeling. It's been a while since I felt this eager about writing. Like, sadly, it really has been a long time. And I
Mm.
and it was all because I decided that, you know what, I haven't done this thing. I hadn't done nano in at least 2, maybe 3 years now, and I was like, you know what, let me try it again and see if I can get anywhere. And I've been feeling pretty good. And like I said, there were like some days that I was not writing as much as I could have because I was literally starting to fall asleep on my desk. But there were other days, like there was that one day I wrote like 2,800 words, and I don't even know how that happened, but I did. And
Mm.
that just made me feel great. I was like, wow, I was on fire today.
Yeah, no, it's good when like you find like that motivation,
Yeah.
Mhm.
which is I feel like sometimes the hardest part is finding that
Yeah.
motivation.
Oh,
So,
absolutely. It is. It totally is. Like
Mhm.
I lost that motivation. Like I
yeah,
know I want to do it, but then actually doing it, I just couldn't get myself to do it. So,
yeah.
yeah.
But all right. So, anything else that you guys want to add to this episode besides obviously wishing everyone a happy new year and we'll catch you in 2022?
I guess I'll briefly say that we kind of touched upon this a little bit earlier, but we have some plans and things that we're going to be doing related to the show. As we get closer to when we are going to implement some of these things, we'll gradually make some announcements and such, so you understand what's going on. But we're still kind of working things out, so we can't reveal them yet. But there are things going to be happening coming soon to a listening
Woo.
device near you. Ah, I just had to say it.
That's hilarious.
That's
Um,
okay.
Okay, so before we close out, as usual, we have an email address where you can send us questions, comments, criticisms on how to improve our show. You can email us at threefatesdecide@gmail.com. It's the title of our podcast, all in one word, and the 3 is spelt out.
And you can also reach us on Instagram at Three Fates Decide. The 3 is spelled out. And feel free to send us DMs.
Let us know what you think. We love feedback.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Catch us next time.
And see what we're going to talk about.
Because the 3 Fates decide.